I thought I'd take you all on a little walk with me today and show you how I set up one of my selfies. I'm currently here in the very foggy, well, foggy in patches, Fanal Forest on Madeira Island in Portugal. And it's so beautiful. So I'm currently looking for a tree to shoot with. And all the trees here are really cool. Ah, fudge. It's too pretty. I'm overwhelmed. I feel like I have to run to see other trees in the fog because a new layer just came in, like a new wave of fog, and everything's so epic. What tree do I shoot? Wow. Wow. Okay. Not too shabby. I know it doesn't really look like I'm climbing a hill on the camera, but I am, and I'm way more out of shape than I thought. I found my scene. I'm just going to use this before the sun sets in a few minutes. It's nice, it's quiet, there's a few cows behind me, and the light is dreamy. So what I do first is I usually set up my tripod. Probably gonna shoot from full height today, which I don't know what that is, 4.5 feet or something on this guy. It's a little stiff from sand and water getting inside the things. All right, next, I'm gonna get out my camera, but I'm not gonna use this lens. I'm gonna switch to my, oh no, I have no place to put this. Switching to my 50, which the 50 millimeter of 1/.2 is perhaps my favorite and most dreamy lens. Now, I'm going to attach it to my tripod. Firmly, I hope, because my camera tends to fall off my tripod. Okay, so the fog disappeared, but that's okay. It might come back, or it might not. But I'm just gonna continue to do this because I want to show you all how I shoot selfies. So we'll just pretend the fog's there, and if we're lucky, it'll come back. So the next step is, this is about when I usually put on the dress, whichever dress I'm going to shoot with. Today it will be this lovely rusty orange dress made by my friend Kaya. Also gonna take my hair out of this braid, try to make it somewhat fluffy, decent for a self-portrait. Okay, the fog is back. I have a cow butt, like, kind of in my space, but that's okay. I'm gonna try not to get kicked. He just came up to me and he, like, tried to eat my hat right there, and then he tried to butt me. But he's eating now, so we should be good. Whoa. Kind of feeling like I'm being pushed out of my space now. Okay, so he's still there, but he moved a few feet, so I'm hoping we can share some space for this. So this is my scene that I've set up, and it did look way cooler when the fog was going through. I find the fog tends to just take out a lot of the busy background in the ferns and other trees, so that the big tree was like the main part of the photo that was most visible to the eye, and everything else was blurred out in a dreamy way. And my plan was, whoops, and still is, to go and stand next to that tree and maybe do some various poses and stuff like that. But while we wait for the fog, if it does come, I'll walk you through how I do this. So I'm shooting on a Sony a7R III, and usually in my selfie process, the first thing I will do is, oh, it is on auto. Put the focus on autofocus so I can lock it on this tree. Around the base of the tree is where I'm going to be standing. So it's focused on the base of the tree right now. And now I'm going to switch it to manual. So now it's locked on the base of the tree. The focus won't change when I walk out there. Woohoo! And I make sure all my settings are correct. I try to shoot as low ISO as possible to take away graininess. Although as it gets darker, I might have to raise that a bit. I love shooting usually as wide as possible at f1.2, which is as wide as this dreamy ass lens goes. I love this lens, and shooting wide really helps to blur out the background. So even though I have no fog to take away the busyness of the background, at least shooting wide will help kind of take out the busyness by blurring out the background and foreground a bit. And I'm shooting at about 1/200th of a second, which the shutter speed I will usually just adjust as it gets lighter or darker. A lot of people think I shoot with a self-timer, but I don't. Oh, the fog's coming back. Okay, I have to be quick. I usually shoot, the handy thing about Sony is that it has a built-in time-lapse mode, which I will show you now. So I go to menu and I'm in interval shoot function, which I am going to turn interval shooting on and shoot start time in 1 second. So when I press the shutter button, it'll start shooting in 1 second, and shooting interval 2 seconds. So it will keep shooting every 2 seconds. So once I press the shutter button and it starts shooting, it will keep on shooting until, like, I could be out there until my camera card fills up or my camera runs out of battery, or until I come back and I turn off the shutter button. And I find that a great way, oh, the fog's coming. I find that a great way to just stay out there and do a variety of different poses without having to run back and forth for a self-timer. If you don't have the shooting interval option on your camera, the other thing that I used to do before I had this option is I had a Velo Shutterboss wireless remote, which was my favorite remote out there, but I'm sure there's other great ones too. And with that, I just had to plug it into the side of my camera, and I had a handpiece that I could either walk out and click the handpiece to take the picture, but the range often wasn't that far. So thankfully the part of the remote that plugged into my camera also had a time-lapse shooting interval option. So that's what I used. When I used that, I just set my camera with my Shutterboss wireless Velo remote thing to take photos every 2 or 3 seconds or so. But now that I have that option in my Sony camera, it makes life a lot easier because I don't have to carry around a remote anymore. So all I have to do now is take off my pants and shoes because they don't quite go with the dress. And then I'm gonna get out there. One thing to note here is that if you do take your pants off for a photo, or for any other reasons, I'm not judging, maybe don't like sit your butt right on the ground, or at least check yourself after, because there's ticks here, speaking of which. And yeah, thank you to my beloved partner Chris Andrus for figuring that out for me during his nude shoot here the other day. It's working. Here it goes. Oh, there's a lot of cow poo. Oh, there's a lot of cow poo. Alrighty, let's take a look-see. Okay, so it wasn't too shabby. Wow. Just my running back and forth, making sure the camera's working. Definitely would have been way better with when there was the fog in the background and the sun shining through. That would have backlit everything and taken out all the busyness in the background. But because I use the wide aperture, when I zoom in you can tell more. The background is blurred, whereas I am quite sharp, so that helps me stand out a bit from the busyness of the background. There's a little bit of light coming through my dress still, although it's very faded. So yeah, not my best selfie, not what I was hoping it would be, but yeah, that stuff happens. Still, decent. So hopefully that gave you all kind of an idea of how I actually take my selfies. Yeah, that's pretty much the whole process. And now the last part of the process is running around trying to collect all my stuff. I think I have a lens cap over by the tree somewhere, and some of my clothes and other selfie sticks and stuff are kind of everywhere. Those cows chased me, so I think I dropped something over there too. So yeah, I'm gonna try to find everything before it gets dark and hike the couple kilometers back to the car. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you learned something, or maybe these are all things you knew before. So if that's the case, hopefully you at least got some kind of mild entertainment out of at least me almost getting mauled by a cow. Sending love out to every one of you. Thank you again so much for your support. I super appreciate it. Love you all. Mwah. Bye!